Well, welcome back once again. We're still with Lopez, Caro, and Alberto Roca. Before we go on break, we were talking about the players that you are concerning about, the talented players. Now I'm going to move to Lopez, Caro. I'm talking about the qualification needed for a coach, or needed in order to be a grassroots coach. Unfortunately, here we do not give that much concern about the coach who's going to be around those guys. So I need you as an expert to tell me what is actually that qualification for that guy who's supposed to be around those guys.
Exacto, ¿no? ¿Qué tipo de habilidad, qué tipo de, ¿no? puede tener una persona para tener una licencia que le permita poder ejercer y poder enseñar a estos niños el fútbol?
Hay un concepto que yo no estoy para nada de acuerdo con la realidad del fútbol, no solo en Arabia Saudí, sino en muchos países.
There is an item that he's not really can you say, puedes decírmelo como un poco diferente, hay un concepto que
sí, que yo no puedo estar de acuerdo con la realidad de lo que ocurre en la mayoría de los países.
He's not agree about the reality that it happens in most part of the countries. He will explain.
Un ejemplo muy claro, en la mayoría de los clubes, cuanto más pequeños son los chavales, menos nivel de cualificación tienen los entrenadores.
Because in the most part of the countries, those coaches that they are coaching the kids, the young kids of 6, 7 years old, are the less qualified persons, people.
Yo considero que es todo lo contrario.
It has been completely the opposite.
¿Por qué digo esto? Porque son las edades donde el jugador, si tiene unos muy buenos instructores, en este caso buenos entrenadores, el crecimiento tanto individual como equipo es enorme.
For sure, the people who take care of the kids must be the best
most
one,
qualified
the most qualified person,
yes.
Because it's the most important part of the life of the football player.
Hay estadísticas más que demostradas, y sobre todo en este caso los grandes clubes europeos,
the big clubs,
donde la exigencia mayor la hacen evidentemente con los entrenadores de formación.
The most important that they really care about that issue, so they put always the best coaches for that generations.
Es decir, el desarrollo de un jugador está en edad temprana, no en edad adulta.
The kids are taking skills really quick, and for sure they have to improve in that period of time as much as they can to be a good football in the future.
Okay. Now I'm going to move to you, Alberto, once again. Some sport experts saying that the bodies of the Saudi players always a problem to them guys. They do not have, or would not help them to compete with different countries, with different teams actually in different occasions. So how can we overcome this problem? You mentioned something about Spanish team sometime, Barcelona, for youngster players, and they still compete. So do you see this as a problem?
No, I'm not agree about, excuse me, but I am not agree.
Okay.
Because I think that you can see, we were talking about Barcelona, as you have been there for 5 years, and players don't have incredible body, or it doesn't seem people that they are so strong, but they know how to play football. And
indeed they know.
For sure.
And for sure they know.
But if you know how they did that, why they have arrived at that time playing like this, is just playing football. Know how they have to do the things during the game. So it's most how to know and how to performing well, but always training football specificity. Not if we are talking about, oh, it must be fitness, it must be, for sure, some players, some people, they must grow up because they have some problems. But if the person of the kid has not any problem, let's just them to play football, and this is the most important thing, because all the concepts that are in the football, that mental, physical, tactical, technical, must be
all together.
All together.
Right.
So we cannot separate physically here, tactical here. But when we are working together with all these things at the same times, you can see then how what it happens, like in Barcelona with Barcelona players.
Well, back again to you, Lopez, talking also about the academies. Most of the people here repeating that the academy is the solution actually to accelerate the speed of development of the football in Saudi Arabia. So do you agree that the academies is actually very essential things to have, or to be actually the last resort for us to improve our ball in Saudi Arabia?
¿Piensa que las academias, las escuelas son el paso para intentar mejorar las estructuras o el nivel de juego en los jugadores saudíes?
Para mí es un apartado importante a cuidar y además con mucho cariño, ¿no?
It's a very important issue to take care.
Pero el primer paso se tiene que dar en las competiciones anteriores, es decir, las competiciones escolares, ¿no?
But the first step must be a little bit earlier when they are students.
Porque de esas competiciones anteriores escolares, de ahí se tienen que nutrir todos los clubes de Arabia, ¿no?
Yes, from these little schools, then in the future, all the clubs will take this kind of players. Es
decir, cuanto mayor sea el abanico, como dijimos antes, de esas competiciones escolares, ellos van a tener mejores opciones para poder elegir a los jugadores, ¿no?
As big as is the group of you can choose, players is much better for the future in Saudi.
Sin ninguna duda, luego las academias tienen un papel fundamental.
For sure, academies are really important there, just to help.
Okay, let me ask you, Alberto, here about we are in the same context here about the clubs and how they usually take care of those youngsters. They do actually, do they have their own academies, or they do have rely on their resources to have certain playgrounds for those youngsters? Tell me more about it, how they just take care of those grassroots for every club.
For sure, it's important investment. Investment in facilities are really important. We have seen in our visits in the clubs that most part of the teams have not the best facilities for kids. So we have to improve in that direction, and for sure, as Lopez Caro says, it is also important for the formation. Everybody must be at the same time. So, but clubs must pay attention to that. We can see a lot of fields without grass, with not good installations. So we must pay attention to that. If we are take care of that, we know, and we are sure that in the future, the level of the Saudi football must grow up really quick. But if we are not doing that now, we cannot expect in the future to have a strong team.
Okay, back again to you, Lopez. Now, where do you see the problem of the Saudi Arabia? I know that you spent, we did not spend much time in Saudi Arabia yet, but I'm saying now, how do you see, the Saudi football, and where do you see the problems or the defects of the Saudi football?
¿Cuáles ves los defectos que pueda tener, ¿no?, el fútbol en Arabia Saudí?
Bueno,
in general now, we are talking general, you don't have to go specific.
Yo creo que no se trata de defectos, se trata de aspectos que debemos de mejorar, ¿no?
It's just the questions that we have to improve, not to talk about the things that are not working well.
Usually when you are trying to improve something, you have to know where is the problem first, and then you tackle the problem, you see what I mean?
Dice que para intentar mejorar a lo mejor hay que ver los problemas que pueda haber, ¿no? En un principio, para poder atacarlos.
Sin ninguna duda hay que darle muchísima importancia al trabajo de base.
For sure, we must pay attention, and we have to work in the direction of the youth.
Si queremos mejorar si queremos mejorar el fútbol en Arabia y que en el futuro podamos tener alta competitividad a nivel mundial,
if we want to improve and to have a good high level in the future,
tenemos que mejorar mucho en la estructura. Cuando te hablo de las competiciones y estoy hablando de las instalaciones. Debemos hacer un gran esfuerzo en mejorar ese apartado.
It's the same idea. We have tried to improve to invest in facilities for kids to have the best environment to improve their qualities.
Y luego otro apartado que para mí, que ya anteriormente lo hemos mencionado, es el aspecto organizativo. Es decir, el club tiene que estar estructurado de una forma organizativa, pero a nivel deportivo, no solo a nivel administrativo, ¿no?
The club must be always well organized in a football, not just administration, but also in a field.
Que no quiere decir que la administración sea importante, es tan importante como la del deportivo.
Administration, for sure, is important in a club, for sure. But beside that, always organization in a club
pero esa organización deportiva implica a tener una filosofía, a tener unos criterios y fundamentalmente tener una evaluación fundamentalmente de la formación que se le da a nuestros jugadores.
Then philosophy can grow up.
Indeed. Well, I know that you have a promising plans, and hopefully that it's gonna be, you know, come to reality, and we can see this with a tangible result, inshallah, in very near future. Now, before we go, this is actually our final questions. What you are as an assistant coach for the national team, what is actually your word for the Saudis who's actually were disappointed not to qualify, and they are hoping for a better future for the national team?
For sure. First, you know, we have to say that we are lucky to be, you know, one of the best coaches in the world. So, and we are handling, I'm sure that everybody must be confident that our work can be achieved, our goal in the future. And that's important. We are in the past, we are not talking in the past.
Past is gone.
Yeah, for sure, but it's important to learn about the past.
Right, right.
And we have learned a lot, you know, so now we have just to go ahead, just to look forward, and to see that if we are doing well the things, and we are trying to do our best, we will, for sure, we are sure that we can achieve that goal, and everybody will be more happy than now.
Inshallah. Well, we wish you all the best, inshallah. Lopez Caro, head of the technical community, or committee actually, of the Saudi national team's affairs. Thank you very much for coming. And also Alberto Rocco, assistant coach of the first Saudi national team. Thank you very much for your dual mission, translating and also telling us about the national team. Thank you very much both for coming to the program.
Sure.
And with that, we're coming to the end of our program for this week. Until we see you, inshallah, next week with other guests. Take care and good.